Okay, well, welcome everyone to the Making Facebook Profitable for Your Business webinar. This is a brand new webinar that I'm running for the first time based off the back of a recent survey that I did of our community. And basically what I did is I went out to ask what people's training needs were. And the biggest thing that came back to me was people just saying that they're using Facebook for business, but not very profitably. And so I really want to change that. So that's what this is all about today. Now, I am Lauren Bartley, for those of you that haven't been on one of my webinars or been involved in any of my training in the past, and my business is Impactivate. So you can find me at Impactivate on pretty much all of the main social media platforms. So I'd love it if you aren't already to go and connect with me over there. Not necessarily right now, but if you want to, if you're one of those people like me that loves to social share when they're learning and you know, put some tweets out there, can you make sure that you @tag Impactivate so I can join in the conversation once I've finished on the webinar? So what I want you to do now, if you can, turn off any distractions that you might have going in the background, shut down your email, turn off any other notifications, and just give me your undivided attention for the next hour of content. And then I'm going to transition after that to answering some of your questions and telling you a little bit more about how you can work with me. So today we're going to discover how to make Facebook more profitable for our business. And before we jump into that, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me. So for those of you who aren't aware, I do teach social media for business, and I do that in a variety of ways. One of the ways is that I do social media presentations. So a lot of companies book me to come out to present to their business, or even at conferences and events, that kind of thing. I do one-on-one coaching for social media, which I do online using GoToMeeting. And I also have a team that works with me to do some social media management. So as part of that, you know, for some of our clients, they you know, need some actual help in the implementation side, and we do that. I also have some online training programs, my Social Media Success Program and my FB Business Success Now program. And that little image down there in the right-hand side is a very big passion project of mine that I do with Fiona Redding from The Happiness Hunter, where we have a podcast called Business Addicts, the podcast, and it's for anyone who's addicted to business. We help feed the addiction and also manage it. So if you haven't checked that out at all, then it's on iTunes or Stitcher or at businessaddicts.com. You can listen to that. There's some real valuable information in there for those people that are into business, like I definitely am. But it's not all about business, believe it or not. And I am actually, you know, more than just business. And so I thought I'd give you a little bit of a snapshot of who I actually am. And where else to look other than Facebook to tell me a bit more about that. So I just went through a few of our recent images that I've posted to Facebook. And as you can see from the one in the top left-hand corner, I love to travel, and I love traveling. I love hanging out with my family. I love swimming, and I particularly love swimming when I'm traveling, and that's me at the Gundagai War Memorial Pool. You can't actually see me there, but oh, what a beautiful morning that was. I also love taking selfies in the pool while swimming with my kids. I love going to sporting events. You can always see me at the Australian Open each year. And I particularly love hanging out at the gym with my friends. Every now and then you can see me doing some crazy stuff, like going on a zip wire with my son when we're on a recent holiday, or getting my husband to go on rides that really scare the hell out of him, as you can see from that image there. I can also occasionally be found down at my local Bunnings cooking sausages. So enough about me anyway. This webinar is not about me, it's about you, and it's about what you're going to learn. So here's what I've put together for this particular webinar. So we're going to start off by going through the foundations for Facebook business success. And this is all about the key things that you need to be doing on Facebook for your business if you want to be successful. I'm going to share with you some simple tips for using Facebook to attract, sell, and wow your ideal customers. And we'll also be looking at the top tips for creating and sourcing engaging content. We're going to look very briefly at Facebook ads, and in particular, the essential elements for creating Facebook ads that convert, because I know there's a lot of people that have attempted them and just haven't quite got them right. And then finally, we'll look at how to integrate Facebook into your day-to-day business activities to ensure that you're being productive, generating a positive return on investment, and most importantly, just not wasting your time, which is one of the things that we found from the survey that a lot of people were saying was happening. At the end of the presentation, I did say I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can work with me more. And one of the ways that you can do that is with my FB Business Success Now training program, which I'll share with you at the end. I'll also be doing a Q&A, and in that Q&A at the end, you have the opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. Now, in terms of the Q&A, I actually can't see the questions that are in the chat box at the moment because I've gone full screen, but I do want you to ask questions throughout this presentation, and what I'll be doing is I will be answering at the end. If you have any technical difficulties during this webinar, then please email info@impactivate.com.au and Cherie will answer those questions as soon as possible. If you forget that, just go and post on our Facebook page. She's also monitoring that. So let's get started. And I want to start by talking about where Facebook is right now. And I don't want to dwell too much on this, but I couldn't help but share this, seeing as my good friend Mark Zuckerberg decided yesterday to announce the latest community update statistics for Facebook. And I can't help but put in the most up-to-date information in all of my presentations. So I worked this one in here. Now, Facebook is massive. We all know that. It wasn't that long ago that it hit 1 billion users. And as you can see there, it's already up to 1.5 billion users, well in excess of that, that are using it each month. Facebook also integrates with a whole heap of other apps that they also own, like the WhatsApp and the Messenger and also Instagram. And you may or may not be aware of this, but Instagram have just recently announced that they allowing ads on the platform. And the way that you create the ads on Instagram is via Facebook. So through Facebook's advertising platform. So it's really important, I suppose, from a business perspective, if you want to be using ads on Instagram, you do need to have a presence on Facebook as well. So we've got, whilst there's a 1.55 billion people that are active each month, still in excess of them are logging on every day, which is massive. There's a couple of really, I suppose, things that I really want to point out in this stat that jumped out to me the most, and that is 925 million plus users are using Facebook groups every day. So if you're not using groups for your business, you're really missing out, because there's a lot of people that are really benefiting from that. And, you know, it's a great thing. And I'll talk a bit about that shortly. And then we've also got 8+ billion video views that are occurring every day. And so video is just nuts on Facebook. So if you're not using that now, you really need to get on board. And that final stat of 45+ million small businesses are using Pages. And that is where, you know, the home base for your business on Facebook. So let's get into the foundations for business success, which I promised you just a moment ago. And we'll start off by talking about the first foundation, which is strategy. And what you need to do from a strategic perspective when it comes to using Facebook is you need to go right back to what is your business using Facebook for. So, you know, what is your business doing? Sorry, what are your overall business goals, and how can Facebook assist you in achieving that? You need to look at the resources that you've got available or that you might need to get available in your business. So looking at the skill sets, the time, the budget, that kind of thing. And also looking at any assets that you either have or need to develop that's going to assist you in your social media success, and with using Facebook in particular. And they're things like your blog, landing pages, opt-in offers, email subscriber lists, the products and services you have to offer, or maybe it's not products and services, maybe it's a cause, maybe it's something else if you're not for profit or something like that, that you actually want to get people to take action on. And as part of your strategy, you also want to look at your audience. And I'm really going to drill into this throughout this presentation, and also look at the personality of your business. So if your business was a person, how would you be behaving? How would you talking? What would you look like? Those types of things. And really try and develop a persona for your business that you can use when you're communicating consistently online, particularly if you've got multiple people that are managing your page. You want to make sure there's some consistency throughout. Now, I don't have a lot of time to dive right into the details of strategy today. I am just going through each of the foundations, but I do have a resource at impactivate.com.au/quick start, which is going to help you if it's basically 16 questions that are going to help you in developing your social media strategy for your business. So I highly recommend you check that out if you haven't already. So then I'm going to move on to the next foundation for business success, and that is optimizing your Facebook page. Now, this is one of the things you do when you first set up your page. A lot of people went to a fair bit of effort of actually, you know, going and making sure their branding was right, filling in their about page and all that kind of thing, and then they haven't gone back to it since. Facebook pages actually change, and the functionality of those pages change over time. So one of the things that you need to do is go and look at whether or not it's actually optimized at this point in time for all of the features and functionality that Facebook has. So one of the things you want to do is look at your About page and see that you've got the keywords in there that you want to be found for. But most importantly, you have to have a bit of a what's in it for me there. And by what's in it for me, I mean, you need to have some sort of statement. When people first come to your Facebook page and they go checking you out, they understand what they're going to get if they actually sign up for it. And it's not just a case of, oh, these are all the things we have to sell. It's look, what value are we going to be providing for your audience on a daily basis? And importantly also is you need to ensure you have your full contact details filled out, because if you have any of those blank, particularly like your address, location, phone numbers, that kind of thing, if those fields populate in the type of category you've picked for your page, then that's going to be an issue for you in terms of it's actually going to jeopardize the amount of reach that you get. So those people that are really disappointed with the reach they're getting at the moment might want to go and look at that and see if they can fill that in further. You also want to put a call to action at the top of your Facebook page, which you'll find in the cover, on top of the cover image art that you've got at the top of your Facebook page. And look at things like featuring some videos, pinning posts to the top of your page, those types of things, because when someone comes to your page for the first time, you want to make it attractive so that they say, yeah, this is the kind of page that I'd like to follow and have their content in my newsfeed on a regular basis. Now, I used to talk a lot about apps when I talked about optimizing your Facebook page. They're not as important these days, but for some businesses, they still are. So for example, Shopify links really well with Facebook in terms of having an actual shopping cart installed within Facebook apps. So if that's the kind of thing that, you know, would be of interest to you, or maybe a MailChimp sign up or something like that, they do still offer some value, but they're not as successful as they used to be. Something that is really important though is that you have multiple page admins, so that if something happens to your page, you actually have the ability to have someone else, sorry, if something happens to one of your admins, you have another person that still has access to your page. And another thing that comes in terms of those admins is looking if you can get them to link their personal profiles to your page. It's also going to help you in terms of just being discovered by more people. And then we need to look at your page engagement settings. So have you actually got it turned on so that people can tag themselves in photos, and so that they can, you know, tag others and reply to comments and post to your page and those types of things? If you've turned any of those settings off, that could be an issue in terms of why your engagement's so low on your page. And then finally, you need to make sure you've got your notifications set up so that you're advised, you know, as soon as something's going on your page, so you can respond in a timely manner. Okay. This is the big one. The next foundation is building your audience. And I am so like hung up on this, because this is the most important thing that you could be doing for your business. And that is building a targeted audience right from the start. So from the first day, I know a lot of us go and get all our friends to like our Facebook page. If those friends are not interested in ever doing business with you or engaging in your content, don't invite them. Keep it targeted from the start. And in order to do that, you need to know a fair bit about your customers. So you need to know about their demographics, so their age and gender, those types of things, where they live, their psychographics in terms of what are their pain points, what are they, you know, interested in, what are their aspirations, and their behaviors. What do they actually do? Like, you know, what do they read? Where do they hang out? Do they buy online? Do they not buy online? All those kinds of things. And so if you haven't done a customer avatar activity before, where you actually go and identify who your ideal customers are from a demographic, psychographic and behavioral point of view, then I highly recommend that you do that. And you might have multiple avatars in your business. You also need to be specific about what you have to offer and the what's in it for me. So when I talk about the what's in it for me, it's about, you know, why should people like your Facebook page? What is it that you're going to be offering them? And really communicating that throughout the messages on your Facebook page and the content that you share. When you're building your audience, you can do some organic, and I highly recommend that you do as much organically as possible. And by organic, I mean without having to pay for Facebook for ads or any other form of promotion. And once you've kind of exhausted your organic efforts, then you really should invest in in some sort of Facebook advertising to start building an audience, both in terms of people who like your page and also in terms of email subscribers and other audiences that you might be looking to create. Now, Facebook groups is a great option. I mentioned before how active they are within the Facebook platform these days, and they become a great extension to your business. Or maybe you participate in other people's groups to find out about when people are talking about the pain points that potentially your business could overcome. Facebook events are another way that we can actually start developing an audience around an event that we've got coming up. And all of these things in terms of page like, people attending events, people that are in your groups, they do add an element of social proof as well. And so as well as there being direct value in the audience, there's also some value when people come to your Facebook page and go, only 125 people like this page, it can't be that good, as opposed to coming and saying, oh, look, they've got a couple of thousand people that are interested in this. I want to check this out more. Oh, and I can see my friend Sally likes it too. Well, if Sally likes it, it must be good. So you can't underestimate the value of the social proof as well in terms of building your audience. And I'll talk more about audience throughout this presentation. So the next thing, I'm actually going to skip over this because I've got some real bulk stuff I'm going to talk about this, but creating and sourcing content is the next important foundation, and it's a very important foundation. That's why I'm going to dig into this, because this is the thing where a lot of people in the survey were saying that they just weren't getting the reach that they wanted anymore, or that they used to have, or that they would like. And I'm going to give you some tips as to how we can go about increasing that engagement with you and reach of your content through the content that you're sourcing and creating. So the next foundation I want to talk about is generating leads and sales. So this is, I suppose, the thing that is going to make Facebook profitable for your business. And but it's not a case of just, constantly screaming at your audience, buy my stuff. We need to be more strategic in the way that we do that. And we need to use other tools other than just Facebook in order to do this. So I'm a big believer that we need a multi-channel approach to our Facebook marketing, or to our marketing in general. And so one of the things that I highly recommend that you do, and I teach as part of my FB Business Success Now program, is that you need to develop a targeted opt-in offer. So you need to have something where you can actually achieve, gain access to people's email addresses, because then you're not at the liberty of Facebook's changes to their newsfeed algorithms that determine what does and doesn't show up in the newsfeed of your fans. So you need to get a few systems and processes in place for this. And this means developing some landing pages on your website where people can actually go and opt in to whatever it is that you're offering. And obviously, develop the opt-in offer itself as well. You want to have some sort of email marketing service provider like MailChimp, or I use Infusionsoft, or whatever else it is that's working for you in your business. And then you need an email nurture sequence off the back of that, where after they've opted into the target opt-in offer, then you can send some email marketing that moves them closer to the point of purchase. And at some point in that, you're going to have a strong call to action. You'll need a strong call to action in terms of getting people to opt into your offer, and you'll also need a strong call to action when it comes to making sales. But the problem we have with strong calls to action on Facebook is that Facebook actually decreases the organic reach that you'll have for any of the content that has a strong call to action where there is a potential sales opportunity off the back of it, or lead generation. So if you're using words like download, buy, free, all those things are going to send triggers to Facebook to say, hey, hang on a second, these people are looking for a business gain off the back of it. And as a result, they will expect you to put some Facebook advertising spend behind it. Now, I wouldn't suggest that you go, okay, well, I'm not going to use those words. I'm going to be a bit more subtle instead so that I get more organic reach. That it's not going to work for you anyway, because all it's going to mean is you're just going to get a small audience that's going to see that, and a small portion of that that's going to take action. Whereas if you were to use Facebook ads, you'd have a large audience that would be seeing it, and as a result, a larger audience that will be taking the desired action. So off the back of all that, we've done some form of nurturing. We need to have an irresistible paid offer. So you are not going to achieve success on Facebook if you have crappy products and services. Also, if you have overpriced products and services, or if you offer something that everyone else is offering and nobody wants. So that's just the hard truth of it. And but how you communicate this irresistible paid offer is through your email marketing and through your Facebook advertising. And there is actually a third one there, is through the word of mouth of others as well, which can be done both on and offline, assuming you're awesome at all that you do. So the next foundation for Facebook business success is monitoring. And what we need to do is we need to monitor the activity on your Facebook page and also engage in the conversations. So what we want to do here is, one, be monitoring activity on your Facebook page. So what's happening in terms of people communicating with you. So you want to have your notifications set where you're getting the various alerts, and whether they be alerts to your Facebook page, on Facebook directly, or emails, or notifications in terms of the Pages Manager app that you might install on your mobile phone. You also, though, it's not just about what's going on your Facebook page. You also want to be engaging with others. And so you want to set up either some notifications or your news feeds so that you're actually seeing the content that other people are posting and engaging in that content as well. It will help you develop relationships much better if you're communicating with other people's stuff rather than just allowing them to communicate with yours. And Facebook also have this really handy feature called lists, where you can create lists of all of the content that you wish to see and engage in, and use those lists to, one, find content to engage in, and also it might be a good way to source content to share yourself. And most importantly, you need to schedule some time to engage. And this goes two ways. One, schedule the time to engage to make sure that you are actually getting in there and engaging. And two, schedule the time to engage so that you're actually not there when you shouldn't be there, because that is one of the big problems that a lot of people have in the whole social media time suck, is that they're on Facebook all the time, and you don't need to be. Not if you're setting up your notifications and alerts and you're being strategic in the way that you are spending your time. And I'm going to talk more about that later. So then the final foundation to Facebook business success is to measure your performance and revise your strategy accordingly. So some of the ways that you can be doing this, one is through the monitoring you're doing regularly already, which we just mentioned, but also looking at things like Facebook Insights, which you should be doing at least weekly. So if you haven't looked at your Facebook Insights within at least the last week, then I highly recommend that you jump in there soon after you get off this webinar and start having a look and seeing what people are actually responding to and what's working well and what you could potentially improve. If you haven't got Google Analytics set up on your website as yet, then you really need to get that in there. And one of the other great things that you can use is this thing called UTM tracking. And particularly if you're doing a whole heap of different social media advertising or email marketing, and you're not sure what's actually working for you, then UTM tracking can be a great way to see how far that post that you did, how that actually converted. And so if you're doing some organic posting and so you're not putting any Facebook ad spend behind it, you can still see by setting up some goals within Google Analytics as to whether or not that's converting into sales for you. And if you're using Twitter or something else, the different UTM tracking links that you can put off the back of it are going to allow you to work out which channels are performing best for you as well. Now, I know I don't have time to go into the details of that, but that's one of the things that I'll talk about in my FB Business Success Now program. And then we can look at other things that are telling us how we're actually converting. And Facebook ads, you can actually set up conversions within the ads where you can find out for the amount that you've spent, how much it actually cost you per lead or per sale, which is fantastic, or per other engagement that you potentially want. You can then take that data within your Facebook ads and bring it out into Ads Report. And then you can do whatever you want with that. Go nuts, make yourself some graphs, compare ad campaigns, split test, all those types of things. The data is just amazing that it provides for you, and that's where you're going to make your real fortune. So then the next thing is the bottom line of your business. So at the end of the day, if you're spending a whole heap of time on Facebook and your business is getting worse and worse and worse, then that's going to be telling you some signals too in terms of your performance. So once we've gone through and had a look at our performance on Facebook, we need to then adjust our strategy. And I recommend that you do it every 1 to 3 months as necessary. For some people, monthly is perhaps even too long. 3 months is possibly, an acceptable amount for those people that have got loads on their plate. Any less than that, I'd say you're probably also missing out on the fact that Facebook changes all the time. So if you have the same strategy going without any tweaks or reviewing or analysing for more than 3 months, there's a good chance that you may be wasting your time. So you definitely have to go back and review your performance quite regularly and adjust accordingly. So then that was the basics, foundations in terms of what we need to be doing organically on Facebook to achieve success. But if you really want to amplify your results on Facebook, then you do need to be investing in some Facebook ads. Now, Facebook ads are going to allow you to get greater reach. They're the most hyper-targeted advertising option on the planet. So not only are they going to allow you to get greater reach to overcome the issues that you might be having at present in terms of the reach that you're getting on your Facebook page, you're actually going to be able to choose who you reach in just the best targeted way that is possible. We give so much data to Facebook on a daily basis as users, and Facebook packages that up and makes it available to page admins to then promote back into that stuff. And it's just amazing what you can do. You want to optimize your ads based on the objective. So are we trying to get page likes? Are we trying to get people to come to an event? Are we trying to get people to watch a video? Are we trying to get people to opt in? Or are we trying to get people to buy from us? And countless other things that we can now do with Facebook ads. So you can actually choose the ad that best suits the objective, rather than, if it's a Facebook ad, or sorry, not a Facebook ad, a newspaper ad or those types of things. It's all, you can't choose that based on objective in terms of the placement and we can very limited anyway, but what Facebook allows you to do in terms of its seamless integration into the platform and the significant control it gives you over where that's going to be, how much you're going to spend, all that kind of stuff is just amazing. You can also monitor and modify your ads whilst they're still active, which is great. Recently I turned off some ads that just were not performing. Now, if I was to place that ad into the newspaper and it wasn't performing, well, bad luck. I've paid up front. It's out there. I can't change it, especially if I had a typo, which I have put my hand up. I've had typos in my ads before. It's great. Someone pulls it to your attention. You can go in and fix it while it's still going. You can set your budget according to what you've got available, and it's so relatively inexpensive in comparison to the other options that are available to you. And most importantly, you can measure your return on investment directly. I mentioned before in terms of conversion reporting, you can actually see how much is it costing me to generate this lead or sale or whatever else it might be. And once you know that, it no longer becomes like putting money into the pokies, pulling the lever and hoping something comes out. It becomes more like I'm putting money into a vending machine, and when I put this money into the vending machine, I know what I'm going to get in return. And that's what starts to happen with your Facebook ads. And that's when you can really start to budget your Facebook ads, going, you know what, I know it costs me about $1.50 for a lead. Okay, that's great. I know it's going to cost me about $15 for a sale. That's fine, because my product is, a couple $100. That's a great return on investment. So you can then make better business decisions around what you're going to be spending your time investing in terms of Facebook advertising. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our Facebook foundations, and I'm going to move now into how to use Facebook to attract, sell, and wow your ideal customers. But before I do, I just want to give you an overview of this. And I did mention before I use Infusionsoft. I'm actually an Infusionsoft certified partner, and I teach businesses how to use Infusionsoft as well as help them set that up. And this is actually a framework that Infusionsoft uses as part of their teaching. So I just wanted to let you know, that this isn't stuff I've made up. It actually comes from some really solid business background from a company that deals with small businesses day in, day out on a regular basis. Now, what we want to be doing here is we want to, first of all, be attracting eyeballs. And when I talk about attracting eyeballs, I mean page likes, group members, event RSVPs, ad traffic, even offline things. We want to be attracting people's attention. and their attention, we know we have their attention when we have their eyeballs looking at us or what it is we have to offer. Then what we want to do is convert that attention. So convert those eyeballs into leads. And by a lead, I mean someone who has given us permission to, a targeted lead, as in someone who has opted in through targeted methods to receive communications on your behalf. So a lead could, to an extent, be a Facebook page like, but I usually qualify a lead as someone who's given you their email address. And then what we want to do is we convert those leads to sales. So as part of this, what we need to be doing the whole way through is providing a wow experience throughout all stages of the customer life cycle and through all touch points. And that's both online and offline, because what we do offline can have a significant impact on what happens online. I'll just give you one example that's going nuts at the moment. If you go and look at the Foxtel Facebook page right at this present moment, they've just lost the EPL rights, and oh my God, every single post for the last week or so, regardless of what they post, the people are commenting and turning it back to the issue of losing the EPL rights. It's actually hilarious reading. I encourage you to go check it out. So let's look at this first stage where we're trying to attract those eyeballs. And what we need to do, harping back to what I said about audience before, we need to be hyper targeted. We need to know who our ideal customer is. We need to know who they are, where they are, what they want. And when we know that, it's so powerful because we can give it to them. So we want to attract that access via their newsfeed, and we'll get into their newsfeed by getting them to like our page, join our groups, say they're coming to our events, and some other things like other people talking about us. And then it's not enough just to say, oh, great, we can communicate with them via Facebook, I'm done. No, we need to have a multi-stage, a multi-channel approach to our communications. And that's where we want to get them to subscribe to us via email through some sort of targeted opt-in offer. And then via both of those channels, we're going to provide value. And this value then becomes like organic juice. This stuff tastes so sweet. It's fantastic. It costs you nothing. When you give people what they actually want and they engage with it and they share, and it's just magical. And so the more value you can be providing, then the better results you're going to be getting organically. And then we can use Facebook ads also to help move this along. So we can use our Facebook ads to attract access, as I mentioned before. And then we get to the point of selling. Now, a lot of people think that the sale happens when someone gives me money, but the sale happens well before that. And the sale really should be a no-brainer in the end. And one of the ways that we sell is that we educate. And so we educate by providing valuable content, and that valuable content gets people to know, like, and trust us. And the more that they know, like, and trust us, the more they're likely to want to do business with us. And when I say us, I mean both the business and the people that operate within it, because people like to do business with people. So we really do need to be getting our potential customers to get to know, like, and trust our business and our staff. And then at this most strategic point, and when people are more likely to want it, is when we come forward with the offer. And by this stage, if we're really specific in what that offer is, we get our timing right, and we have a good story behind that offer as well, in terms of it not just being buy my stuff, but it's why they need to buy your stuff. Have some sort of a story behind that, and a story in terms of they've told you about the pain points, what's not working for them, and then let them know how what you've got to offer is actually going to benefit them. Or a story in terms of, you know, how this product got developed, and you know, the passion behind it, and it's eco-friendly, and those types of things that are going to really resonate with your audience, because you know your audience really well by this stage. And then it gets to the point of the close, and the close is where the money changes hands. And if you're doing this really well in terms of educating and giving them what they want, then really the close should be a no-brainer. People should just be saying, I'm going to sign up to this. I know that I need this. I know that I want this. I know that I'm going to buy this, because it's just, you've educated them through the process. They have no questions at that point. They're ready to buy. And we do this through that good old organic and paid combo again. So we'll be sharing some of our content to educate them organically. And we might be putting some money behind that to boost it. And then we'll be doing some of the closed things. We might be in terms of looking to actually secure them to sign up for something, to purchase something. We might do some ads behind that, or it might be email marketing that gets them across the line, which, you know, you're not paying for at that stage because you've already obtained them as a lead. And then I mentioned the wow, and this is where we need to under-promise and over-deliver, and it's all about customer delight. And we've got a great episode that Danielle Story did on the Business Addict podcast. I highly recommend you go and listen to that one, all about how to delight your customers. And it's so important in this day and age of social media that we are doing that in all aspects of our business. Because what happens, regardless of whether you're providing customer delight or not, is that other people will be talking about your business online. And you need to make sure that's positive. And you want to leverage the viral nature of Facebook to your advantage by other people talking about how awesome you are and how awesome your products and services are, or your cause, or whatever it might be. And those people become advocates for you. And when they become advocates, they become referrers to your business. And they refer people to your business by sharing or @tagging. Now, I don't know if any of you, well, most of you probably saw the video I did in promoting this actual webinar. And a lot of people, I think there was like 20 odd shares on the post. And there was also @tags of people saying, hey, whoever it is, come check this out. That's the kind of stuff that you want to be doing, because you are wowing your customers or potential customers and creating advocates. A lot of the people that @tagged have never done business with me, or that was the first time that they had discovered me. And if you were one of those people, then thank you very much. And the reason this is so important is that people are more likely to act based on a recommendation from a friend. And so I want you to be trying to get as many people talking about you online using social media, and Facebook in particular, as possible, because that is going to give you a bigger bang for your buck. So put your thinking cap on as to how you can get more people as referrers to your business on Facebook. Okay, now let's get into that issue that I parked a moment ago in terms of creating and sourcing content for your business. This was the hottest topic when it came to the survey that we recently conducted. People are complaining that reach has decreased on Facebook. And yes, it has. And yes, we can bitch and moan about that, or we can just kind of accept it and say, okay, and what do we have to do about it? And that's the approach I want you to take. If you're in the bitch and moan category, you can continue doing that, but it's actually to the detriment of your business. If you're in the category of, okay, how can we work with this, and what do I need to do, knowing that that is fact, then you're going to be able to achieve success on Facebook. Now, it used to be up when I first started teaching this stuff, around the 16% mark, that they said for each of the posts that you would put out there, that's how many people would see it. It's down to around, they say, about the 2 to 6%, and there's predictions out there. No one has that actual glass ball that tells you exactly this, that it could eventually get to 0. Who knows? But at the end of the day, Facebook is, these days, the front page of the newspaper. It is the Super Bowl commercial. It is, you know, the news, the ads that come on during the news. It is the prime bit of real estate that is available. It's where people are spending their time. And so we can't expect to get that for free anymore. Yes, we did have it good for a while, but hey, times are changing. So the way, without going into the full details of how the EdgeRank algorithm, or Facebook's algorithm, is calculated, which I do in the FB Business Success Now program, but I don't have time to go into here. The one thing you need to understand is that if you can get more people engaging with your content, you are going to get more reach. There are people out there, when they post, every post, they get more people that see it than the number of people that like their page. It can be done. I'm not saying everyone can necessarily achieve it, but I'm sure most people at some point have had one post that they go, oh, wow, that was amazing. So the more you can get people individually engaging, the more they're likely to see your content. And the more collectively you can get people engaging from your page, the more collectively people who like your page are going to start seeing your content. So I'm going to look at the positive side of this and say, okay, how can we get a bit of that? And this is where I'm going to give you some examples. So what makes engaging content? I do have 101, one of the things in the FB Business Success Now program that I do have in the content module is 101 examples of engaging content for your inspiration. Now, I can't go through all 101 of them within the time we've got allotted, so I've just picked out a few that I'm going to share with you today. So the first one, and this is first for a reason because it is awesome, and that is Facebook's native video. And by native video, I mean uploading a video to Facebook directly. Now I'm going to share you a little secret in terms of promoting this particular webinar. When I put the webinar together back on the 30th of October, I didn't have any time to create a video. I knew I needed to create a video, but I didn't have any time. So I thought I'll just put together a quick graphic and I'll just put that out there. And so that's the example you can see on the left is what I whipped up and put out there. Now, can I just tell you something? I got crickets. Absolute crickets. Like, it was terrible. So then I thought, oh, I'll put a little bit of Facebook ad spend behind it. And I'm actually embarrassed to tell you how much it was costing me to run Facebook ads and the conversion rate that I was getting off it. I slammed those ads within no time and just went, I'm not wasting my money. So then I spent probably about an hour getting myself ready to put myself in front of a camera, put together a little bit of a slideshow, and recorded this presentation that a lot of you will have seen, or not presentation, this short video to promote this webinar. And as you can see, and this is last night, and I know I've got more than that, I had 20 shares on this, more than 14 comments, 26 people liked, and most importantly, a couple of hundred people converted off the back of this. And my conversion, my cost per conversion for this was amazing. I was paying 3 cents per video view, and I was paying just a little over $1 a lead. Some audiences were paying better than others, but that was to get people onto a webinar where I now have an email address. I have people that are engaging in my content and listening to me for over an hour. Like, that is a significant return on investment for my business. And obviously I've said I have a product that I'm going to promote to you as well. I'm sure, based on what's happened in previous webinars that I've done in the past, that I will more than get the return on investment for what I've paid for those Facebook advertising. Now, had I've just gone, I don't want to invest in Facebook advertising, I'm just going to go for an ad, and I'm not going to spend the time to create the video. I'm just going to do a post that has like an image and does that. I probably would have got a handful of people on this webinar, and I probably will, get next to no return on investment for what I had done. So it is worth investing so that your content is seen by more people, so that you get a bigger bang for your buck. And it's worth investing your time in doing things like putting videos together. Now, I've also put this example on the right to show you that it doesn't have to be high production. This is Fiona and I on the Business Addicts. We got sent a gift. Anyone who wants to send us a gift, we're more than willing to accept, by the way. And someone who we mentioned just off the cuff on one of our podcast episodes sent us a thank you gift, and we just decided to unbox this. Now, you may not be able to see the stats on this, but this reached 2,044 people. And it had 920 views. The time when we posted this, the Business Addicts Facebook page probably had like 200 people that liked the page. And yet we got such viral reach off this through shares and likes and comments. So don't think that you have to invest in really big high-tech stuff. Peek behind the scenes. Like, let people see your excitement, your enthusiasm, those kind of things. And those videos just organically respond really well. Now, I should actually also mention all the examples that I show throughout my presentations are always examples of businesses that aren't necessarily like massive businesses. Usually, most of these examples have maybe a couple of hundred people that like the page. Some might be in the small thousands, but I like to show examples of what the norm can achieve rather than the exceptions. It's why you're highly unlikely to see me showing like Starbucks or something like that in my examples. Now, this is actually one of my clients, You Can Do It Parents. And what they've done here is, or what we've done for them, is we've created a whole heap of branded graphics for them. And what you want to be doing, second to videos, is thumb-stopping images and things that are going to make people stop in their tracks on Facebook and actually take note. Now, they've done this where, they're all just tips for parents, and they get massive engagement, and these things perform probably the best posts on their page. Some people will do quotes, some people will do tips, some people will do, things that are going to be inspirational. You've just got to work out what works best for your audience and do that accordingly. Now, it doesn't have to be branded, and I'll be honest with you and say usually people who heavily brand their images actually don't get as good of results as those that don't brand. But for some businesses, if that's your primary objective is to be seen and have your branding out there, then you may wish to do this or mix it up. And this is particularly great if you've got your branding, if it does get shared. You also need to let people peek behind the scenes and share your stories and get people to tag themselves. And I've included an example, Fiona from the Happiness Hunter again, because I don't know anyone that does this better than her. Every time they go for a walk as part of the Happiness Hunter, she takes a selfie or a picture of where they're at or whatever they're doing, and she gets people to tag themselves. And then the viral reach that she gets off the back of this and the interest she gets and the rate that she's building her page is fantastic. And she's doing that all organically. And this is one of the strategies that's working really well for her. So I encourage you, if you're in a business that has a lot of customers and people involved, get them involved, get them on your page, share their stories. You will get great results off the back of it. In terms of peeking behind the scenes, we can also share your success stories. So this one is Biz Buddy Hub, and it's actually a local co-working space that's looking to start up in my local area. And this is just Sarah, the founder, who was in the newspaper. And so again, this page may have had like a little over 100 people that liked the page at this stage. And yet we've got, 19 likes, 3 shares, and more than 4 comments that are going on. That's really high engagement for a page that is so small. And all they've done is taken a photo of themselves in the newspaper and shared it out there. People like to see success stories, and they want to congratulate you for that as well. So if you've got success stories, make sure you're sharing them. But don't just share your successes, share your vulnerabilities as well. And I love this. This is Ange from Dotty Media. And she just says here, I'm pushing through some serious resistance today, preparing for the next launch of Get Insta Savvy. Give me a hell yeah if you've ever had to put your big girl pants on and push through the goddamn resistance. And she's morphed her face into the most googly eyes of all time. It's hilarious, but it's showing her personality. It's showing her vulnerabilities. And she's got great engagement off the back of it because she's, people can relate to that. People know that they've been there, done that, and they're really glad to see that others are in the same boat as them. And then we can make stories out of nothing really too. And this is Good Life Health Clubs Australia. All they're doing here is they've got a shipment of weights that have arrived. Like, to most people you go, oh, wow, that's boring. But to your members, that's amazing. They're so excited to know that these shiny new weights are going to be in their store, in their gym, shortly, that they're going to get to use. So don't just unbox the weights and put them on the shelves. Create a story out of it and share it. And then have some fun. And this is Steve Vallis from the Honey Bar and Restaurant. He's awesome in terms of his social media. And he's just found an image here that says, my only interests are drinking wine and judging people. And that's relevant to his audience. But then I love his little commentary he's put to the top of it. And he goes, it's important to have hobbies. We have wine. Get down here. Like, it's just fun. It's the personality that's coming out of his brand on his Facebook page. And then talking of personality, this is Woolworths. And Woolworths, if you ever go to the Woolworths page, you'll see posts to the page by others. They get slammed on a daily basis. And this is an image that Jacob has posted on their page that says, hey, Woolworths, thanks for the incredible work on lowering the price of groceries with such unbelievable bargains. Normally I should spend $4.96 on 2 avocados, but now thanks to another incredible deal, I get to spend $5 exactly. That's a saving of -4 cents. Thanks, guys. All my savvy shopping is finally paying dividends. And if you can look at the engagement off the back of that, but then look at Woolworths' response. Woolworths says, oops, we had one job, ! If you tell us the name and state of the store, we'll get on to fixing this ASAP. P.S. Can we avocado and make up in the meantime? So, you know, they're having fun with this. And as a result, you can see there's been 1,471 replies on that comment alone. Now, if what we're trying to do is get people to engage with our page, to demonstrate to Facebook that people are interested in our stuff, so more of our stuff will actually be shown. This post, whilst on face value, you might go, oh, epic fail, look what they've posted to the page. It's actually doing Woolworths a service in terms of that content. More content that gets posted to the page is likely to be shown up, you know, that the page is sharing is likely to show up in the news feeds of others. So don't always think, oh my God, social media nightmare. Someone's realized that we've overpriced some of our stock. No, let's have some fun with it. And let's see if we can turn this around and make these people our biggest advocates instead. And then you can also ask for engagement. So here we've got, winter is the season for passion fruit. These passion fruits are sweet and purely delicious. What's your favorite thing to make with passion fruit? Let's get some conversations going on our pages, which is obviously on brand for this, The Healthy Chef. We can share opinions and perspectives. And here's a local action group in the area that I live. And they've shared a post. And they haven't just put it out there and gone, you know, like, here's a post, it might be of interest to you. Instead, they've used some opinions and perspective. It's about time our government starts to take the roads and transport issues seriously. You cannot create a population boom without proper planning, investment in infrastructure. That is generating, again, a page that only has a couple of hundred people. We've got 24 likes, 1 shares, and more than 6 comments that are going on here. People engaging in this because they're passionate about it. This is people that live in an area that have cruddy roads when it comes to the infrastructure. Of course, they're going to jump up and down and engage on the page. And the more they're engaging on the page, the more your other comments and the content you're going to share is likely to be seen in their newsfeed. And then I love this one. This is from Gary Barclay. He's the author of Swimming for Parents. And this is such an important thing. We need to solve the pain points and deliver value. And so he's written a book on swimming for parents, and then he's shared a link that is not his content, but it is something that he knows will resonate with parents of swimmers. And so again, he's only got a couple of hundred people that like his page, but yet he's had 20 people that like this and 20 shares of this content, because it is solving people's pain points and it's delivering value to his ideal customer. So don't always think it has to be your content that you're sharing as well. Get stuff that your people want and give it to them, and they will thank you for it. And also engage with it, and then it's going to help them seeing more of the content that you share that's your own stuff in future. So how do we know what's going to, people are going to want to engage with and what's going to work? I'm going to share with you just 2 of the many tools there are to be able to post known content, known engaging content. So BuzzSumo has this awesome tool that you can use. Now you can use this for free. I think they only let you use 5 or so searches in any 24-hour period, but for a lot of businesses that will be enough. Just go and type in the topic that you want to find content with, and then it's going to display you some results, and you can say, okay, I'm searching for big data. And when I look at big data, here's, and obviously there'll be a whole lot more than this, but here's something that's already been shared 1.5 thousand times on Facebook. If it's already been shared that much, then Facebook knows that it's popular. If you post that to Facebook, Facebook will go, hey, lots of other people like this particular thing. I'm going to show it to more of your audience because more of your audience are potentially going to like it as well. And there's another way to get into the newsfeed of your ideal customers without having to do all the legwork of finding stuff that's going to be awesome and provide value. You know, this is already demonstrated that people are into this. Another tool that allows you to do that is Post Planner. And Post Planner, I think their cheapest plan is about $7 a month, but you can go in there and it'll allow you to see what's already working in your niche and that type of thing, and on other pages that you follow that. And then you can add your own sources as well and share the highest performing content, which is great. And really $7 a month to invest in something like this, when it means that you're not having to spend hours and hours and hours trawling for the best content, it becomes a little bit of a no-brainer. And then we can look at things like what your audience already wants. So you can go in, and a lot of people don't know this. You go into Insights, and when it will show you what's going on in your page, you can actually search by reach, engagement, targeting. It's a bit like an Excel spreadsheet. You just click on which column you want to look at and see what's performing best, and then sort accordingly. So here we've sorted by reach. We've gone, okay, this one got 20,000 people that it reached. Now this page only has about 14,000 fans, and it's like, what was it about this post? Was it the time of day? Was it the type of content? Was it the way we positioned the content? What was it? And then find out what it was about that, and then go and do more of that. And then again, push on that reach again, and we'll sort it from the worst performing ones, and then go, okay, what wasn't so good about this? Okay, we need to avoid posting of, at 5 a.m. in the morning, because clearly no one wants to engage in our stuff at that time. Or, well, it looks like people aren't interested in that issue, or whatever it is, and start getting a picture as to what your audience wants based on how they're responding to the content that you're sharing at present, or that you've shared in the past. And then another thing that works really well is to survey your audience. Now, this webinar is off the back of surveying my audience to see what they want and what they need. And so I've gone through, what's your biggest challenge when it comes to using Facebook for business? So I've gone through all of these responses, and I've answered all of these questions within this webinar. So I've also created an ebook off the back of what has been discussed in this, what people have that filled this survey in, and actually sent that out to everyone that completed the survey with more information. And I'm embedding all of this stuff into my FB Business Success Now program. So if you find out what your people want and you deliver it to them, well, then you're going to return a better result, and it's going to make it more profitable for your business. And in terms of delivering what your audience wants, you can also go and look at the pages to watch section. Now, one of my clients, Record Store Day Australia, they actually follow all the record store days from around the world, because they know something that resonates really well with an audience in the American Record Store Day, for example. There's a good chance that it'll resonate well with the audience in Australia. So they can go and find content that way as well, and just see what other people are up to and learn from it, and implement accordingly. Okay, so we're just moving on now from talking about what we could do organically on our Facebook page to looking at how we can now take this to the next level and amplify the results that we were having. So here we're going to look at the essential elements to Facebook advertising. And these are the things that we need to get right in balance in order for us to be successful in using Facebook ads for our business. And in doing so, you'll notice that I have the first word that I've bolded in this whole presentation here, audience. And what I've bolded this for a reason. Audience is the most important thing when it comes to Facebook ads. If you don't have the right audience, then your ads aren't going to be successful, no matter how great the copy is and the images and the calls to actions. So you could have the best, highly hyper-targeted audience and run an average ad and get a good result. But if you have a really good ad and an incorrect audience, it doesn't matter how good that ad is, the results just aren't going to work for you, because you're going to be attracting the wrong people to your business. So I've bolded audience for that reason, and that's why I've spoken so much throughout this presentation on the importance of audience. And what I want you to look at here is how we can actually find these people to promote to on Facebook ads. And there's a few different ways. So one is we've got our fan base, which we can run ads to. We can run ads to those people that subscribe to us by uploading a CSV file of those people that are on our subscriber database and opted in to receive marketing messages from us. And we can also do that if you've got MailChimp. You can actually integrate directly within the Facebook platform as well. We can look at our website traffic and install a website pixel on our a custom audience website pixel on our website, which will then track all of the people that are visiting your website that happen to be logged into Facebook at the same time. And they'll start getting grouped into an audience that you can advertise to, and that will start to grow over time. You won't know the individual people, but you'll at least know that, there's 2,000 people that have visited my website in the last month, and I can run ads to them. Then you can also look at the lookalikes. Now, lookalikes is just a great feature that Facebook advertising offers, where we can say, hey, Facebook, you know all those fans that like my page? Go find some other people that look like them. Or that subscriber list that I uploaded. Can you find some other people that have similar demographics, psychographics, behaviors to these people and bunch them into another audience? And same with website traffic as well. Go find some people that look like the people that have been hanging out on my website, please, Facebook. And they'll create these lookalike audiences for you, which will increase your reach beyond the people that you currently have access to, but they'll still be targeted in as much as they're very similar to the people that you've already identified as being your targeted audience. And so this is another reason that it's so important to be targeted from the start with your Facebook efforts. Because if you're running lookalike, if you're creating lookalike audiences of an audience that doesn't look anything like your ideal customer, then it's not going to be successful. And then I've put these in order for a reason. I actually find that my fans, subscribers, and website traffic are my highest converting audiences. And from ad to ad, it actually moves around in terms of which of those are the most successful. But I'll always run my ads, assuming I'm not trying to get people to like my page. I wouldn't run ads to fans. But, you know, if I'm doing an opt-in or something like that, I'll always run them to fans, subscribers, and website traffic. And I find the same with all my clients, that they're finding that they're the best converting audience as well. Lookalikes then come in as the next level of, success. And then the next one down is interest. And that's where you go, you know what? I want to find people who, my ideal audience is likely to like Oprah and Richard Branson and, whoever else the other people might be. And say that people with those interests, I want to go out and actively seek them to like my page as well. But in all honesty, they don't perform as well as fans, subscribers, website traffic, and lookalikes in most cases. But for a lot of businesses, they have to start there because they don't have the fans, they don't have the subscribers, they've got next to no website traffic, so they can't put lookalikes off the back of any of them. So they have to start with interest. And that's not a bad thing, but I don't think it should be your long-term best strategy. So then the next thing we want to look at is the objective. So what are you actually looking to get out of this ad? And if it's page likes, then we run a page like ad. If it's I want to get people to opt into an offer, then we run an opt-in offer. If you're kind of going, you know what, I like people to opt in, but I also want to increase my page likes, well, then you need to run 2 ads. Yes, you might get some people that, organically go off and like your page as well. And actually within an opt-in offer, if they don't like your page, the little like button appears up in the top right-hand corner of the ad in some placements. And so you can still achieve that objective, but that's not what you're optimizing the ad for. You're optimizing the ad for people who are opting in that case. And therefore Facebook's going to show it to more of the people that are more likely to opt in because based on, their behaviors that they've done in the past. Then we look at the budget, and the budgets, I mentioned before about how we have this kind of, poker machine. We don't want a poker machine mentality to our Facebook advertising. We want to have the vending machine mentality where we know how much you're going to put in and what's going to come out as a result. Now, that doesn't happen at the beginning. At the beginning, you do have to go with the poker machine approach and go, you know what, I'm prepared to put $50 towards this advertising just for a couple of days to see what comes out. Then when we see what comes out, we go, okay, let's have a look at our reporting and everything, and let's see what aspects of this ad were working well for us. And then we go, okay, so it's costing us between $1 to $3 per, lead or whatever it might be. And you go, am I okay with that? And what was why was the one, what was happening for the $1 and the $3 on the different ad sets? And go, okay, well, let's tweak it so we can get it back down to $1 or whatever you need to do so that's acceptable for you. So then you start going, you know what? I know if I put $50 into this Facebook advertising campaign, that I'm probably going to get around about 50 leads or whatever else, whatever it ends up being for you. It is different from people to people, from businesses to businesses, from audiences to audiences. And so whenever someone says to me, hey, Lauren, how much should I be spending on my Facebook ads? You may as well ask me how long a piece of string is. So you do have to start off with a little bit of the poker machine mentality where you go, I'm okay with just dropping $50 on this. But eventually you want to get it systemized and knowing your audience and knowing your outcomes and knowing, you know, what resonates and what doesn't resonate, what calls to actions work, what landing pages, all the other stuff, to know what your budget should be and what you should expect off the back of paying for that budget, and then adjust your ads accordingly based on whether or not it's achieving those goals or not. So the other thing we can look at is placement. So when we're putting our ad together, Facebook will allow us to choose where it ends up being on Facebook, whether it's in the news feed, the right-hand column, those types of things. Now, a lot of people will say, you know what, I'm not going to put it in the right-hand column because, you know, no one ever clicks on those ads and, you know, like people got banner blindness to them, whatever. So one thing they don't take into account is that it's usually quite cheap to advertise into the right-hand column. And people do click on them, just not as frequently. And that's why it's quite often cheaper to put them in the right-hand column. But what you can do is you can start off by putting them, you know, in multiple places, including that right-hand column. And then when you're finished, actually export your ad reports, or whilst your ad's even still going, export those ad reports, see how it's performing on cost per desired objective, not per cost per impression or any of that kind of stuff, and then go, you know what, actually, whilst the cost per impression is not that great, the cost per conversion is fantastic, and therefore you might choose to keep those right-hand side column ads on. They're great for some and not so great for others, is what I've found with my different clients. So you do need to test. And the other thing I found is that, you know, sometimes the right-hand side column works awesome, other times it bombs. So don't just think because it worked one time that it's always going to be that way. Then the other thing we can look at is our images and our video. So, you know, what is it that we're doing to create thumb-stopping content in the newsfeed through the images or videos that we're including? And, you know, I'm a big advocate, as I said before, about doing video ads. They're returning amazing results for me and for my clients at this point in time. We need to look at our copy, and when we're looking at our copy, making sure that that copy is concise and that it's got, you know, strong calls to actions as part of it, and also that it's within the requirements for the actual ad type that we're using. So in some cases, like a page like ad, you're actually limited as to how many characters that you can be using. Then we've got things like our links, and making sure that our links aren't going to sites that Facebook is potentially going to block because they think it's offensive in the URL or anything like that. And making sure that we've got really clear landing pages that are actually just got one option when people get there, and it's specific to what you told them they were going to have when they click through the ad, so that there's congruency throughout and they're just not thinking, oh my God, like I clicked on this ad expecting this and then I end up at this page that looks nothing like it. They're going to bounce straight off. And so whilst you might getting a really good click-through rate, your conversion rate is going to be really poor. Then we need to install for those ads where you're looking for an off-site conversion. So not necessary for things like page likes, but things where you want to put a conversion pixel on your website so you can actually see what the cost per desired result is. So cost per opt-in, cost per sale, that kind of thing, cost per lead. And then the ad doesn't stop when the ad stops. There's also what happens afterwards. So we need to look at how we can nurture those people once they've opted in for us, perhaps to get a free download or whatever it is. How do we nurture them then through to the point of sale? And then also looking at is if they've bought something, how do we then nurture them in terms of post-sale, in terms of getting referrals, in terms of getting to cross-sell or upsell, or, you know, how can we get them, you know, to increase the lifetime value of those customers and also to wow them so that at the end of the day, they start raving about your business on social media. And then the other thing we've got off the back of that is the reporting. So we can pull those reports at any point in time while the ad's in action or once it's finished to actually go in and have a look. And this allows you to do a little bit of split testing as well within here to say, okay, so which audience was working better than the other audience? What placement was working well for me? And just actually starting to tweak whilst the ad's in action and also once it's completed, so that you can use that information moving forward so that you end up with a vending machine approach to your Facebook advertising. So the last thing I wanted to talk about today was integrating Facebook into the day-to-day business app operations, because I know a lot of people find that social media and Facebook in particular is an absolute time suck. And I don't want it to be that way in your business. So the big thing that we need to be doing here in order to prevent this time suck is, first of all, starting to block time. So what I want you to do after this webinar is go and start creating a plan for your business. So an editorial calendar. So let's start saying, okay, we need to be sharing one Facebook, or we need to be sharing one blog post of our current stuff, one of our past stuff, one of other people's stuff, a video, an image, and whatever it may be that you think that you need to start sharing on a regular basis, and mix it up so it's not like every Tuesday we get the same thing, because if I only log into on for Tuesday, then that's all I'm going to see from you. Like, try and mix it up a bit. And also look at what's coming up in your business. So what big events have you got? When are you going to be in a launch phase where you're going to be doing a lot of like promotional stuff on Facebook? And when are you going to be in a time where, you know what, I'm happy to just like engagement's the key. And even when you're in the launch phase, how can you make sure that you've got engagement as well as, talking about your products and services as well? So it's not just all sell, 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 sell. You also need to block some time for content consumption. So by content consumption, I mean, going in and reading other people's content on Facebook, external to Facebook. I use Feedly to get a lot of my content, and, start collating that and then putting that somewhere. So we're starting to, when we're consuming content, what systems and processes have you got in place to actually then capture that? Do you need to put it in an Evernote file? Do you need to put it into a Dropbox, a shared Dropbox, where you can start, collating all of the content that's being sourced by yourself and the other members of the team? And then once you've kind of got that together, once you've sourced a bit of content, it's like, okay, well, I've sourced this content. Now, what do I actually need to produce? Because if it's already great stuff out there, you don't necessarily have to go and create it yourself. But you'll find there's some holes that you need to create. And also you need to create content because you need to position yourself as the expert, or the go-to resource, or having the best visual product, or, it's your stuff. You need to be showcasing your products and services. So you need to be creating some content as well. And you don't just want to go and do that on a one-off. You want to go and batch that. So if you're going to do a whole heap of quotes and make quote images and using a tool like Canva, which you can find at canva.com, then sit down and do a whole lot en masse and then schedule them. And so we've gone and we've sourced content and we've created content. Then we need to schedule some of that content so that it's going out on a regular basis. But we don't just schedule and kind of like go, yeah, I'm a week in advance, we're all good, I don't have to do anything. You also want to do some things live. So be timely with stuff that happen. When there's breaking news, when you're doing something in your business, that kind of thing. You need to allow for some ad hoc time when it's like, this needs to go on social media, it needs to go now. And you need to also block some time for monitoring and responding. So you could do that at the same time, or you could do it separately. So it might be a case of you say, you know what, I'm going to monitor and respond first thing in the morning for 5 minutes, in the middle of the day for 5 minutes, and at the end of the day for 5 minutes, or once a day for 10 minutes, or whatever suits your calendar and your other requirements. Don't just leave it willy-nilly to say, you know what, I'll just do it when I get the time, because you'll probably never get the time. And then something that's really important when I talk about integrating Facebook into your day-to-day activities is that you do actually have to always be on the lookout. So always be on the lookout for stories, always be taking photos, always be just mindful of, could I share that on Facebook? And collect as you go, and curate as you go, and share as you go as well. So you need to have you need to be doing some of that as well. You can't completely compartmentalize, I can't even say that word, because what will end up happening is you'll miss out on all these opportunities that are great stories for content creation and sharing. So you will need to put some systems and tools in place to do that. And I've mentioned a few just there that I use and some of my clients use, but you may have some others. And feel free to share with me with any that you think that are really cool that you're using, that you think that myself or the audience might be interested in knowing about. So just to kind of wrap up all of this, basically what I'm trying to achieve here and telling you that, these are ways that we can make Facebook more profitable for your business is I want you to achieve better results in the same time that you're currently spending on Facebook or less. Now, we'll put a caveat to this. Those people that are spending no time on Facebook at the moment, I'm not guaranteeing you're going to get better results spending no time. If you're one of those people that's kind of doing it but not doing it well, then my challenge for you is to try to get better results in the same amount of time. Or you might kind of go, you know what, it's because I'm not spending enough time, I need to up it, but at the end I want to achieve better results. But there's two things I really want you to take into consideration here. And this, again, I'm bolding these ones so you know I mean business. And the first one is your time is worth money. I see so many people that are running around like headless chickens on Facebook trying to organically build their page, and they're just spending hours and hours and hours going onto other people's pages and tagging or posting their stuff on in threads of other people's discussions and doing all this stuff, crossing their fingers and hoping that it's going to mean that people will like their page. That doesn't quite happen like that. You will need to know that that's a significant amount of your time that you're going to be spending doing that, and your time is worth money. So better off not doing those ineffective strategies and instead transferring some of that time into money and investing. The other thing, and I think I've kind of really stressed this throughout, is that your targeted audience is an asset. And a bigger caveat again, targeted audience will mean better results without a significant increase in workload, because Facebook is scalable. It takes no more time to write a status update for 100 people than it does 1,000. Where the work comes is in building it from 100 to 1,000. So invest in that up front, and that will help you with your results in the long term. So I don't want you to make not spending money on Facebook a goal, because I see a lot of people that wear that as a badge of honor, and there are some people that have been completely awesome in that regard. I know lots of people that have built like 20,000, 40,000, 100,000 fan base off the back of no ad spend, and well done. But one of the things I realize in a lot of those businesses is that they're sexy businesses. They have, and by sexy business, I mean like they have just got their shit together in all aspects. They've got gorgeous products. They've got raving people that love their stuff. They've got, they're special, okay? They've just got that X factor about them. Now, if you're the local accountant, chances are that no matter, that Facebook, using Facebook, and you can try and make yourself really sexy as an accountant, and it is possible, but you're not going to get that viral nature of those. We don't have a community of people that are hugely passionate about their accountants. So if that's the case, then you do need to invest strategically in ads to build your audience, both your fans and your subscribers. You do need to have a multi-channel approach to convert those leads into sales. And by multi-channel approach, I mean Facebook organic and paid, and your email marketing, plus any of the other social media networks that you're using or any other marketing channels. And I'm not saying that you need to spread yourself really thinly across lots of social media networks. I'm just acknowledging that if you have the capacity to do that as well. You can just go, you know what, Facebook is my golden child. That's the one I'm going to focus on. There's not a problem with that as long as you're also doing something else like email marketing. But I wouldn't put all my eggs in the bucket of just Facebook, particularly if it's just Facebook organic. And then the other thing I want you to do is invest in your learning so that you don't waste your time and money. Because the other thing that I see people doing is, and when I get to Facebook ads in particular, is that they're just spending their time and their money. They've got no idea what they're doing, and they're getting really poor results. And then they throw their hands in the air and they go, Facebook doesn't work. Facebook does work. There's countless number of businesses that are achieving significant success on Facebook because they've invested in their learning, and a lot of the time they've invested in Facebook advertising as well to get to where they're at. So I did mention at the beginning that I was going to talk to you about my FB Business Success Now training program. And what I do in that is basically take the learnings we've done today to the next level, like on steroids, so much more content that obviously I couldn't fit all into the limited time that we had available for us today. So just to tell you a little bit more about this program, I did talk about the Foundations to Facebook Business Success before, and I actually use very similar to that in terms of how I step you through the program. And so there are there are 8 modules in the program, and the first one we talk about the strategy. So that's where we help you build a Facebook marketing strategy for your business. Then we go into the details of optimization. Now, I told you all the things you need to be doing on your page. You can go off and Google how to do that, whatever, and find that information and try and implement it. Or you can sign up to the program and I will step you through that and hold your hand and show you exactly what you need to do and how. Then we need to go through that audience, and I've spent a lot of time in this program really refining that audience. So if you don't know who your ideal customer is, and that's been really like jumping out at you throughout this presentation, let me help you identify who that is. And then let me help you attract those people to your Facebook page and its subscribers so that you can start building an audience of raving fans around your business. As I mentioned in the content, I do have the 101 ways to create and source engaging content, and those tips for you, and then loads of examples. And I really dig into the depth of how Facebook actually determines what does and doesn't show up in people's news feeds, so you can have a better understanding of that as well. Then when we look at the leads and sales, we start looking at how you can actually, start converting your engagement and your activity and your audience into actually generating leads and sales for your businesses. So that's where we talked about the opt-in offers and actually getting people onto your subscriber list as well, and your sales pages and those types of things, because we can be doing awesome stuff on Facebook, but then if we're sending them off to some place that's a dud to convert them, then our conversion rates aren't going to be great. Then I've kind of rolled the monitoring and the performance into one module there, and where we look at, what you need to set up to make sure that you're effectively monitoring your Facebook page and the communications there, and also look at the performance. So we'll look at things like, how do we actually understand, Google Analytics, the insights. How do we understand the insights? How do we set up UTM parameters and tracking? How do we, look at our goals, and also, things in terms of ad reports and that to know how we're performing. Then I go into the whole element of amplifying the results through Facebook advertising. And I do the essentials. And for some people, that's enough. And they go, you know what, Lauren, that's kind of blown my mind. That's great. I'm just going to do that. And then for others, they're like, you know what, I want to know this inside and out. And then I step into the advanced techniques as well. I've split that out deliberately because I know it can be a bit overwhelming for some people. The essentials will give you everything you need to know to actually run Facebook ads that convert. The advanced techniques will allow you to do some more advanced things like navigate the Power Editor and use that tool, and more detail into their Facebook ads reporting. And also off the back of that, I know a lot of people are having trouble with the Pages Manager app. So, how that all fits in together as well. So that's the details of the modules that we go through, but it's more than just that. You get access to the program for the lifetime of the program. And this program's been going strong for over 3 years now, and I don't have any intentions to wind it up. And I actually update the content a minimum of twice a year, because Facebook changes all the time. And that's why I've called it FB Business Success Now, because it's the strategies that are working on Facebook now. And by joining the program, you'll have access to all of the future updates for as long as I keep doing this. And then in addition to that, I really want to embed the learning that you have. So we have impact activities within each of the modules where you'll actually it basically holds your hand to implement what you've learned as you go. Then there's additional resources that you can duck into at any point in time whenever you've got any issues and you want to learn a bit more about something in particular. And then we've got the live Q&A. So I do regular live Q&A sessions where all the people on the program get together and we get to actually, go through some case studies. Maybe it's someone within the group's page that will critique, or really that becomes up to the community as to what they want, and, provide that in that training. And also if there's a major update that occurs that I just feel that the group desperately needs to know, then I might put a special training on for that. And then we've also got the support. So there's a private Facebook group that you can join as part of this program. And that basically allows you to ask questions 24/7 in that group. And I do my very best to get back to you within one business day. And there's also a great community of people who are effectively page managers that quite often can jump in and answer some of those questions as well. And then there's a whole heap of bonuses. So right now, I think there's about 4 different training videos that are in that section at the moment. And I add to that over time as more content becomes available that I think, you should have. And there's also some various downloads and other little goodies that I've thrown in there, and some that you can access. So that's the program overall. I do invite you to join me in it. I'd really like to help you take your learnings to the next level. And in terms of what you'll get off the back of this is really what we're going to do is we're going to help you create a Facebook marketing plan for your business. We're going to help you create and optimize your Facebook business page, connect with your ideal customers and build your audience, source and create engaging content, create raving fans that advocate for your business, integrate Facebook into your day-to-day business activities, create Facebook ads that convert, increase your website traffic, gain more leads and subscribers, generate more sales for your business, monitor activity related to your business on Facebook, and measure the return on investment for your efforts. So if they're the kind of things that you're looking to achieve on Facebook at this point in time, then I highly recommend you to jump on board and get access now. And you can do that at impactivate.com.au/FBBS. For those of you that are wanting to know, well, that's all well and good, Lauren, how much is this going to set me back? Well, in all honesty, it's for the lifetime access that you're going to have to this program. It is very reasonable price, considering that it's always going to be kept up to date for you. So it's $397 if you want to jump in straight away. That's just a one-off price, and I don't charge you year after year. That's just once. You'll never have to pay that again. If you want to spread out the payments and you think that's, you prefer to put a little on this credit card, a little more on the next, then you can pay $213.50 in 2 installments. And then I also have another option where you can pay $997. And in addition to this program, you also get 4 hours of my time to do one-on-one coaching. Those people that have taken up this offer in the past, usually what they do is they go through the program, and then at the end of the program, they use that time one-on-one with me. We use GoToMeeting and we share screens, and basically, we just apply the learning directly to your page. And if you purchase that now at the start of the program, then it's at a significant discount if you were to come back to me after you've done the program and say you wanted to do some additional one-on-one coaching. So just to put your mind at ease, if you do choose to sign up for this, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. If for any reason you're not satisfied with the product, then you just have to ask for a refund within 30 days. I don't ask you any questions. I give you your money back. I know this will be beneficial for your business, and I want to get you on board. I want to put your mind at ease there. So the other thing that I'm doing is that in terms of how the content's rolling out for this is that Thursday the 12th is when we're going to, the first module is going to go live. Now, I did have some difficulties with the technical aspects of this webinar. And so one of the things I was going to say is if you sign up to FB Business Success now before midnight on Sunday, the 8th of October, you go in the draw to win a 45-minute one-on-one coaching session, social media coaching session with me, in addition to the program that you've obviously purchased as well. And because I've had some issues with the recording of this webinar, I'm actually going to extend that through to the Tuesday. So that'll be Tuesday the 10th. So if you can sign up before Tuesday the 10th of November, you will go in the draw to win that, because I know a lot of you are going to be watching this now on a replay rather than live. So I want to give you a little bit extra time in order to do that. I was about to open up to Q&A, but I don't actually have anyone left on the line now because you all unfortunately did get booted out. So what I want to do instead is invite you to ask any questions that you might have in regards to this on the Impactivate Facebook page. So just go to facebook.com/Impactivate and post any questions you have in there, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Alternatively, if you want to ask something privately, then you can just private message via that page as well, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So I do hope you take me up on the offer and join the FB Business Success Now program. It will help make your business, make your use of Facebook more profitable for your business. So I look forward to seeing you on the inside of that program. Thanks and bye.